What's up, everybody? This is John from AU Pack Mule, and today is day number 17 of our 30-day live stream where we talk A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones questions, random questions, of course. My guest does not have any idea of what questions we're going to be asking, and so I hope you're all enjoying yourself. All the people in chat, hello, hello, hello. We've got Iron Trone, Biotic Flux is here, Alicia Kingston, David Adams, thanks for being here, man. Jake Cruz, T-Baby's here, Christina the Sphinx is here in the chat. Got to check that out. Lav is here, and just Plexi's here. Sam R09. My goodness, I'm gonna run out of breath here before we get going. But today I have Christina the Sphinx, the Wonder Woman of the World Wide Web, Queen of the Not So Silent Sisters, sister of the North Remembers, and also the #1 cowboy fan in Georgia right now.
Hey,
Christina, would you like to say hello to everybody and let us know what's going on?
hello all. That was epic. You nailed all of it, especially with the cowboy stuff. Yes, cowboys for life. How about them boys? But I'm Christina the Sphinx, captain of the Not So Silent Sisters, lover of all things Sansa, hater of all things Cersei. Thank you so much, AU, for having me. I'm really excited and looking forward to whatever questions you have for me. And thank you, everybody that's in the chat. I see you guys all. Thank y'all for coming. And let's get into it. Oh, before I go on, we will be continuing after this. The Not So Silent Sisters, at least myself and Alicia Kingston, will be getting into a in-depth conversation regarding the connection between Valyrian steel and obsidian. So if you want to hang with us and talk about that after this stream is done on my channel, Christina the Sphinx, we'll go in and see what we come up with.
Sounds like an epic topic for an epic panel, so I'm looking forward to that one for sure. Definitely want to say hello again to all the people in the chat and all the people that will join us later on. It looks like Thrones Vol just came on the chat, so thanks for being here. Appreciate that. And oh, Monero Geek's here. Are we going to get a bedtime story?
I hope so.
I haven't heard yet, so usually we get the announcement about this time. And I know that you have all listened to that, but if you haven't, please go check out her channel. She has a great sword play with Brienne and Jamie, and I just can't say that without blushing. It's pretty epic.
I can tell you that she's not able to do one right now because she's sick and her voice is not up to par, and we need the voice, right?
Well, I wonder what it would be like if she's got that sick
rasp.
Yeah.
Raspy. We might need to hear that, Monero. You might need to reconsider.
So before we get started in the questions, I wanted to ask you about the Super Bowl. Obviously, you're a huge Cowboys fan, as we all know. But how did you feel about the Falcons going down the way that happened?
So anytime my team doesn't make it into the Super Bowl, which has been a lot of times, I always go for the NFC, right? You know, that's because that's my conference, so that's what I root for. So I was Team Falcons, rise up. I didn't go buy any Falcons equipment, no gear, no pendants and hats and t-shirts, but I was rooting for them. And I thought they had it. It was a wrap. I thought it was a giant upset. I hope I don't offend anybody when I say this, but I literally hate the Patriots, like as an organization and a team. I know people are going to get pissed.
Murphy.
I know it's about to go down, and I'm sorry, y'all, but he asked me. I fucking hate the Patriots, and all I want is for them to lose. Like no matter who is even playing them. I'm so tired of them in the Super Bowl. Like somebody else, please. Just I'm over the Patriots, I guess you could say. So no, I was not happy. I was really rooting for the Falcons, and it here in Georgia, it was a sad Monday. Mm-hmm. A sad Monday.
I can't imagine all the people calling in sick from being terribly disappointed.
Yeah.
As
And
you
it was
know,
really quiet.
in Super Bowl, we won one Super Bowl, and then the next year we were seconds away from winning and lost because of an interception to the Patriots. So I totally get the whole I hate the Patriots thing, but the one
What
that
team
we
do you
lost.
like?
Well, I'm in Seattle, so I'm a big Seahawks fan. I was actually a Seahawks fan since Don Shula got fired from the Dolphins. So that tells you how long it's been.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, you said Don Shula.
They were in the AFC back then, and I just became a Seahawks fan from a long time ago. And when I moved here, it was a super easy change to start rooting for them because I just love them. So I know the Ice and Fire Con is coming up. You've got that planned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering, what would be your other favorite event? Because I know you've done other things with Game of Thrones. Have you been to an event that you really liked, or has there been a video that you've done that would rank up to this level?
Of Ice and Fire Con?
Yeah.
I can't say that I've done anything that I think is equal to that level because so many people are going.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many people that I watch all the time, that I talk to all the time, that watch me, that I talk to all the time. Like just so many of us geeks convening in one spot for one weekend. I can't think of anything I've done that's equal to that. I'm so excited. You're going, right?
I'm not. Well, I shouldn't say I'm not. I'm not. I haven't planned to go. When I got laid off in January, I just put everything on hold because I don't know when I'll be start. If I start a new job before then, I don't want to make it awkward for say, can you do this after this con? You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm hoping that I'll start a new job by then, and I just don't want to take off before then. So
Yeah, I get it. You can't always, yeah, go ahead. Can't always show up to a new job and be like, hey, turns out can't work these 4 days because I'm going to a convention because I'm a nerd.
well, I am a nerd, but that's a totally different story. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So we get Game of Thrones. That's a pretty easy book. I understand what that book is about. Clash of Kings, Storm, Feast. All of the book names pretty much mean, they're easy to understand. But the title, A Song of Ice and Fire, for the whole series, what do you think that means? What's the big story?
Initially, when I first picked up the first book, I was a show watcher first.
Right.
So after that, I picked up the books and I was like, they're called A Song of Ice and Fire. Duh, it's Jon and Daenerys. Ice and Fire. Then I went down all these rabbit holes, all these other pathways and ideas and theories. And now, honestly, I don't know. It could be like one person could be a Song of Ice and Fire. Like Jon could be the Song of Ice and Fire, but it's not called the song. It's called a song. And a lot of times in the text, they refer to fighting as a dance.
Right.
So it's like a song of ice and fire. I'm like, by song, are we talking about a dance like a battle of ice and fire? I know singing and dancing aren't two different things, but they can be correlated, in some kind of way. It just messes my mind up trying to figure it out. And I'm like, I don't know anymore. I thought it was simple. I thought it was just like, oh, Romeo and Juliet, ice and fire, and then they come together and they're happy. But now I know too much. It could be anything. I'm just waiting. I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I had to deal with too. And that's one of the reasons why I love the whole James Johnson theory of the twins with Danny and John being twins, because it makes so much sense if the name of the show or the name of the series is because of those two. But and because they've taken different paths. But I like the idea of the song being a battle. You know what I mean? That part of it's pretty epic.
You know, another thought too, for the song reference is that they stories and myths travel by bards and songs. So it could still be a battle, and it's a song of ice and fire because whatever bard witnessed it will turn into a song and sing it. And then it's like the dance of dragons, a dance, which was a battle, a horrible, brutal battle of dragons, dance of dragons. A song of ice and fire could also be just a recollection of this horrible battle between ice and fire. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It's kind of like a play on words even more. Yeah, for sure. Definitely epic. So I'm going to go to the next question because this is one of my favorite when I was coming up with these questions for you, because I try to gear them around you and your behavior. Oh my goodness. Don the Kraken Wit just joined us. Thanks for being here, brother.
Hey, crack attack.
My condolences on the Falcons.
May they rest in peace.
No kidding. But they'll be back next year, stronger. What do they say? Stronger and harder. Anyway.
Much stronger than the Cowboys.
Yeah. So you're going to be the Queen of Westeros. And I'm going to ask, what would you want to do in regards to how you would rule? And then what would you want your kingdoms to be for you as far as how they could serve the throne?
Damn. So, okay, I'm the Queen of Westeros. First thing I would do is, I know it's a good question. Take care of the poor, hungry people that are outside of the gate, starving and dying and throwing dead babies at Cersei. I would address them first. Get them fed, healthy, in whatever kind of way. I would employ the houses, my bannermen, loyal to me, to help me take care of them and their own. Because every region has their own. It's not just King's Landing. People are starving everywhere. And we see that all through the books, like in the Riverlands. It's, especially the Riverlands. It's war-torn country. People are getting raped, pillaged, kidnapped, murdered. It's bad. Step number 1 is to fix all that shit. Number 2, what would I have them do is to help me fix all that shit.
Kind of like what the Tyrells were doing, right?
I mean, were they?
Well, I mean, they were bringing in tons and tons and tons of food into King's Landing, and then Marjorie was trying to help with the fostering, all the orphanages she would visit, and bringing them toy soldiers. Now that's in the show, but definitely we're giving support. It just wasn't coming from the other 6 kingdoms.
But I think that support was in support of Marjorie becoming queen.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it made a difference, I guess, to some who were able to grab a head of lettuce when they threw it. But I don't know how long it lasted, how much of an impact it made. But there's stuff that needs to be taken care of, and I don't think the Tyrells really took care of anything. They came in like a big, oh, blah blah blah. Look, we got fruit baskets and vegetable trays and edible delights, and we got all this stuff for you. And then they go up into the Red Keep, you don't see them again. And now they're out there hungry. So I don't know if the Tyrells were really trying to help or just trying to bolster up Marjorie's approval rating.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Marjorie. She definitely had a political game like none other. But and this is only the show, but even though it's a book question, she was definitely that way at King's Landing when she would bring even Joffrey out to the people. And we already saw what would happen to Joffrey earlier when he was with Sansa. So quite a change. But I think that's the play that you're going for, is the let's take care of the people method.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take care of the people first.
So would you do any more conquering of any other lands like Dorne or the Iron Islands in a way that would make them part of the 9 instead of the 7?
Yes. No. Now, if I'm queen, I'm different. Like, I don't care, literally. I don't understand the importance of having like all these kingdoms if they're all just like messed up. I'd rather have a smaller number of kingdoms and they're flourishing than my influence is spread all across these giant, vast lands and people are hungry and sick and just like on the verge of death. So no, I wouldn't go venture, like whatever, y'all, islands, do what you want, have fun. Dorne, okay, peace. Like I don't care, especially because like Dorne never comes to Westeros. They can just not even exist in our minds. Like if I'm the Queen of Westeros, Dorne doesn't even have to be a real thing. Because after what's her name died? What's her name? Rhaegar's wife.
Oh, Rhaella.
Yeah, there's been no Dorne presence, and there wasn't much.
Elia. Sorry.
Yeah, and there wasn't much of a presence before her, and then after her, there was no presence until Oberyn came. And that was just to fight and stir shit up. So you don't have to go putting your nose in all these other places. You can just handle your own business right where it's at. Make that really good, really strong, really healthy. And then if somebody else wants to come and try it, then you'll be a better force to fight them. That's just my take on it. I don't understand the need to like go conquer everything and like take over everything, especially if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Excuse my language. I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's okay. I agree because if you have people in your own capital that are starving, it just doesn't make sense. And it's not that they're starving; it's that they have the whole reputation of being the slum of King's Landing. And why would you want that in your own? I mean, I can give you a perfect example here in Seattle, where it's a beautiful city. We're right on the water. We've got a view of one of the tallest mountains in the country, some of the most beautiful places in the world. And yet we have a homeless situation that literally makes it easier for you to put a tent in the street than it is to get a parking space. So it's really bad. And it reminds me a lot of, Gin Alley or whatever. Not a good situation.
It's a situation that is broken and needs to be fixed.
For sure.
By somebody that doesn't care about power so much as just really taking care of people.
Speaking of broken, let's talk about Tywin and Tyrion. Very strange relationship, right? All throughout the books, we see him and Tywin and Tyrion arguing about who's going to be his wife, how that is treated, what happened with Joanna. Tywin never remarries. And yet at the very end, we see Tywin in bed with Shay. And it's like, that's Tyrion's girl. What's up with that? Do you think maybe Shay was with him the whole time from the very beginning?
I don't buy into that theory because that would mean that Bronn was Tywin's man from the beginning. Because Bronn is the one that brought Shay to Tyrion. And Tyrion randomly came across Bronn, like on the way to the Vale. I don't even understand how you could put Bronn there to make that happen and make Tyrion need a champion and make Bronn be the one that, so I link it back. It doesn't make sense. So that just makes me say, no. I mean, I guess Tywin could have got a hold of Bronn at the camp. But if my memory serves me correctly, like as soon as they got there, Tyrion told Bronn, like, go find me somebody. And
exactly.
So Tywin wouldn't have even had time to put somebody in place. So I really think that Shay is what Shay was.
Or maybe she was there the whole time before Tywin, and Bronn took her away from the man that was basically protecting her. So a lot of times if you want a woman to be your wife and she's not of a certain birth, you let her marry one of your bannermen or one of your servants as a way to, protect the the bedroom, I guess. Does that make
Well,
sense?
it does, but she was a whore, right? We know Shay was a whore. Nobody marries whores, especially people of any sort of noble birth. So the question is, we know she's a whore. Who's paying her? Tyrion? Or Tyrion and Tywin?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe both.
I think that she was an opportunist and that she did that's what street girls do to survive. Like, they don't care. Even if they do love you, they do what they have to do to live. And when Tyrion's head was on the chopping block and there's nothing she could do about it, and his rich ass dad pulls up and he's like, hey, look, money, can you lie on my son? She's like,
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, no, fine, because I'm a whore and
Right.
I just have to live. And so having sex with Tywin is nothing for her. She's literally a whore.
Mm-hmm.
Him having sex with her, I think the big surprise behind that is just people being delusional, thinking that a man doesn't need a woman. You know, Tywin is still a man just like everybody else. His wife died. He loved her very much. But that was like, how old is Tyrion? Freaking pushing 30, I think, in the books.
Exactly. 6 years younger than Jaime and Cersei's.
Yeah, so yeah, he just doesn't have sex. Just his wife died. He's just like, nope. Oh yeah, of course he's having fucking sex and he's doing it with whores.
Yep.
And here's a whore right here, and I can defile her because my son has disrespected me by even bringing her here. I'm gonna language alert. I'm gonna fuck her. I'm gonna do whatever. I'm gonna turn her against Tyrion and F my son. And that's what he did. I don't think there's any more significance to it than just basic human nature.
Yeah. It's just really strange that she didn't take the diamonds that Varys offered, you know? It's like,
because she loved him. She loved him.
You really think so?
I do. I mean, now we're talking show, right?
Yeah, we have to because
we done mixed it up a bit.
Yeah,
I know.
It's so different.
And it's fine. You know, I think that if even Book Shay was offered a bag full of diamonds, it's a fucking Lannister that she's in love with. Like, I don't need a handful of diamonds when I have a Lannister, and I love him actually. So no, I'm not going to take your handful of diamonds. I'm going to stay here and let him know I'm loyal and I'm down for him, and we'll see, you know, how far it goes. Because especially in the books, she was all about her stuff. Remember when she was asking Tyrion, like, when can I get my stuff back? What was it that happened? She was like, when can I get, they took all my gowns and my jewels. I think it was after his face got messed up and she came to see him. Is that when it was?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time recalling that part.
Somebody in the chat will remember. The chat always remembers. But there is a time where she was like exactly. She was like, so, you know, hey, but can I get my stuff? Like, they took my stuff, my jewels and my gowns. Like, she's all about the money. And I just think Tyrion, if she had any affection for him, he was the better bet, because that's a more long-term, like, sustained income stream than just a handful of diamonds.
I think Lav said it best in the chat, saying that she was being offered more to stay there and spy on him. Mm-hmm. That's probably, to me, that's more accurate. I'm sure Sybil Kekeli does a great job as an actress, and I'm not criticizing her job at all, but I never felt her affection for Tyrion other than the money part. So
really,
it's just something that I picked up on. You know, don't ask me how or why I would come to that conclusion, because it's probably not what D&D was trying to portray. But in the books, I definitely got the same impression all the way up until the end when she testified against him. So
yeah, I think she was down. Just my opinion. She was down.
That's why we have these great discussions, because we see things differently and we read things differently. I'm sure Roy Dotrice saw it different too. So yeah. So speaking of the book, The Sphinx is not in the show. Probably one of the biggest betrayers of you and your channel that there could be. Eamon Targaryen calls her or calls the Sphinx the riddle, not the Riddler. And when I was doing some research on the Sphinx, I'm realizing it's half man, and half lion, like Tyrion. Did you ever come to that kind of a conclusion as far as it referring to Tyrion as far as Aemon's concerned?
No, because there are different variations of sphinxes.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes they have a lion's body or a tiger's body, or they have a human face or a different. It changes. It's not always the same.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, at the Citadel, we have a male and a female Sphinx guarding the gates. Oh, KFC's here. Hey, Kyle. Thanks for being here, man. Everybody say hi to Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
Oh, good to see you. Yeah, I was really surprised, this Valyrian steel pair of Sphinx at the gate of the Citadel. And like I said, just studying the Sphinx characteristics, half man, which is, like I said, we know that to be Tyrion. And the funny thing is that sometimes it's a dragon or a lizard body in addition to the lion, which is kind of interesting because everybody's saying maybe Tyrion's half Targaryen, because of the Mad King Aerys being his father, which, again, that's a totally different theory, but it's just a really strange thing that Aemon would say about the Sphinx when Sam is at the Citadel, because the very next thing he sees is he gets to meet Sorella, or
Hilarious.
yes, Alaris, whichever you want to call them.
Either one works.
Yeah. So what was your inspiration for using her as your name, your channel name?
So when I read through all the books and encountered her, because I was YouTube spoiled, because I dove all the way in for YouTube. So I knew that there was another alleged sand snake who they called the Sphinx. But that's all I knew, right? So then I'm reading, and then I encounter her, and then first of all, like, she's fucking epic ass archer. She's faking her way as a guy in a giant order of men, and she's excelling at it because she's already forged 2 or 3 links of Maester's chain in just like a couple of years. She's basically beast mode and playing it off like nobody has any clue.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Marwyn knows, but he's on some other stuff. But aside from that, like, nobody knows. And even Marwyn, like, sends her out to go get Sam when Sam shows up. Like, she's got status already. And the main thing that made me use it as my name is because somewhere in the text they call her the Sphinx because she's a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Mm.
And I'm biracial. I'm quadracial, mixed with a lot of stuff. So the fact that she was a little bit of this and a little bit of that, I was like, well, I am too. Yeah, I identified with the multiracialness of the Sphinx. And so I was like, I like that.
Yeah.
Racial craziness and epicness, I'll take it.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. I was reading that her mother is a Summer Islander, and in the show, I was thinking that's Missandei. That's almost like what they're casting for Missandei. When you were reading it, did you get another actress or person in mind that could play
for the Sphinx?
Part? Yeah, for the Sphinx. Besides,
I'm embarrassed to say, because I know aside from, because I would fucking kill that shit.
No kidding.
It should be me, but I'm not an actress, so I'll let somebody else carry the flame. But here's the weird part is that there's my kids watch what's her name? She's a biracial young actress on the Disney Channel. She has a show where her family are all like secret agents.
Britney Spears? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Britney Spears.
That's the only one I know on the Disney Channel from 20 years ago. So
her name's on tip. Like my kids watch her every day. I'm mad that I can't think of it. But they had an episode where she was pretending to be a boy, right?
Sam.
Yes.
Oh,
Zendaya.
We've got another
Zendaya.
Disney Channel.
Thank you, Sam. I see you, RO9. Zendaya. So she's lighter skinned with dark features, right? Like dark eyebrows, dark eyes, and everything. And there was an episode where she dressed up as a boy to infiltrate like a boys like army camp or whatever. And so her hair was all like cut off. She had a wig on, but it was all cut low and everything. I was like, it's fucking Sphinx. It's a Sphinx right there. Because all she did was just like take it off, and then she was a girl again. You know, like it was just like the hair that changed it. Nothing else really changed. And I was like, that's how the Sphinx does it, just like Zendaya. So if I could choose somebody to play the Sphinx, it would be Zendaya. Don't ask me her last name.
Yeah, I couldn't come up with a first name, so yeah, not a chance.
Technically, she's not dark enough. Well, I think so, Alicia. Alicia Kingston said she's not dark enough, but I guess they do say her skin is dark as a summer islander skin. So
true.
Yeah, but I just know that when I watched her dress up as a boy, you know, she pulled it off and was still able to be a girl. I can't think of anybody else.
Plexi, you don't have to retract your message. It's okay. We type stuff all the time that doesn't mean anything.
Plexi does that all the time.
I know. And she asks such great questions. Glad that you're here.
They have to be right. She's like, I'm not going to let that shit go if it's not right.
Poor Kyle's having to shovel the driveway. That's no fun.
Not at all.
Yeah. We got a snowstorm about 5 days ago that snowed us in like 12 inches right away. And it took about 4 days for it to melt off. But I couldn't imagine having that all the time. So hearts out to you and yeah, all the people that are in the Northeast. That's terrible.
I mean, the struggle's real out here too. It was like 60 degrees today. I almost died.
You're making them all jealous.
I was out there in a sweater like
all the Canadians. Yeah. So the King's Guard has almost the same kind of they have to swear their loyalty to the king, just like the Night's Watch. Who would be the people that are on your King's Guard that you think would be loyal and also great warriors and defenders? Because you are the Queen of Westeros, so.
I am. Jaime Lannister. Is everybody alive? I'm going to go with
anybody.
Barristan Selmy. I can choose anyone. Can I put Jon Snow on my King's Guard?
Sure, anybody.
Jon Snow, Brienne, Arya, please. How many was that? 5?
That's 4.
That's 4. There was a Royce guy I liked. Can't remember his name. I'll take the Hound though. Put the Hound on there because he's ride or die until it gets too hot. But that's fine. I just keep him away from the hot.
Too hot, literally. Too hot. So Jaime,
Bronn.
Brienne, Barristan, Arya, and the Hound.
Add Bronn.
Bronn,
and Oberyn Martell.
He's got a little Shay in him, don't you think?
I know he's loyal to who pays him. That's pretty much proven, right?
Yeah. So that's 7. Oberyn, Bronn, the Hound, Arya, Jaime, Brienne, and Barristan.
I feel pretty safe right now.
That's pretty epic, yeah.
2-hand Jaime.
I think that goes out without saying, right?
Yeah. Too ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, Arthur Dane is the only one that you didn't say that probably should be in there. And for who, Alicia, of course, said that because she's smart. Who would you take out? Would it be Jamie or Braun?
Who would I
Alicia?
take out? Oh, you're talking to AK.
Yeah, well, she's saying Arthur Dane, which I totally agree with. I can't imagine, being that he's already been on the King's Guard. But who would you take out on this list? Arya? I think Arya is a good pick because she's got talents that
a
aren't available
particular
to other
set
guys.
of skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at David Adams. He messed me up. Drogo, Grey Worm, Thoros Amir. Okay, fine.
Well, see, the problem with Drogo, not that he has any inability, but as far as him being able to take that oath, I don't
He's
think
not gonna listen.
Yeah,
I can't trust him to do what the fuck I say. Like, I need to say, go over there and do that.
Plus, with all those bells jingling, I think there would be a problem. You know what I'm saying? I might be wrong, but anyway.
Alicia's kicking out Jamie for Arthur Dane.
Yeah, with Jamie being the one that is known as the King Slayer, or in your case, the Queen Slayer, possible. Yeah, I would. I'd have to agree.
You people just don't let stuff die. That was so 10 years ago.
So when you're reading the stories and like some of the characters like the Sphinx that were not cast for on the show, what are some of the actors or actresses that you're imagining playing these parts? Because there's like I think we said about 1,000 characters, so you could literally have anybody.
So Ariam Martell is like fucking Selma Hayek.
Selma Hayek. That's awesome. Yeah, I could see that.
Cause she's all curvy and delicious and like this tall, so it works. You know, a lot of times I wonder about Dark Star. I think it would be so great to see Dark Star. I can't think. I can't think of a good actor for Dark Star off the top of my head. But I know for sure Selma Hayek for Ariane Martell. Yes, I did say curvy and delicious, Alicia. You know she is. They both are. Ariane and Selma.
No
Well,
kidding.
I'm saying her name wrong.
Selma Hayek, yeah.
Who else? Who's not cast? Rhaegar Targaryen.
He's probably the toughest one, isn't he? Because of his.
No, I always picture him as Orlando Bloom from fucking
Oh my God.
Lord of the Rings. It's perfect. That's perfect. Can't you see him strumming a harp and being all like, blah, 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 blah?
Yeah,
you know it works.
Yeah.
Who else? Oh, what's the chick from Friends? The blonde chick?
Yeah.
With the jokes?
Yeah,
the jokes in the nose? Yeah, what's her name? I love her. Yeah, her. So she's
Here's
the
dark
sister chick.
Okay.
Give me the name, the dark sister. You know what I mean.
I do, but
Phoebe. Yeah, Phoebe is the asshole wife of Aegon.
That's funny.
What's her name? I hate drawing a blank like this. You know her name, AU.
Visenya?
Visenya. Phoebe is Visenya.
I think Alicia put it down in the chat before I said it, but yeah.
Phoebe is, yes, Lisa Kudrow is Visenya.
Wow. Pulling them out of nowhere.
Can you see it though? Can't you see it? Her standing there? That's all I got.
Yeah, that would have been a stretch for me. I haven't thought about any of the friends or the cast from Friends in such a long time, but Yeah. Mm-mm.
She has to be sexy. The chat's like, no, she's not sexy.
Yeah, I don't think she was.
I don't think
Visenya.
Visenya was sexy. Yeah, she was a fucking bitch.
Alicia said the same thing.
But she was still, yeah, her bitchiness made her sexy. Lisa Kudrow can be sexy. She's pretty. And she's tall and fits like the build and has the long blonde hair. She could do it.
That was a good one. That was probably the funniest one I've heard.
Lisa Kudrow.
I'm gonna write that down because that's really good. Dan and Dave are gonna want that for the next time they do the show.
That's what I see.
Oh, Charlize Theron for Visenya is a million times.
She's
sexier,
too beautiful.
but she's
she
not,
should be Rainey's.
Yeah. She was pretty good in Snow White.
She should be Val. Charlize Theron should be Val.
That is a good cast.
Yeah.
That actually would be really good. Because they didn't have Val, and yeah, that would be perfect.
I'll pay all my money to see her as Val. Jon Snow with Kit Harington?
Speaking of paying money, this isn't one of the questions I asked, but since you brought it up, what do you think you would actually go see a Game of Thrones series of movies like Harry Potter or one of the others?
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't that be an epic way of finishing off the series?
Mm-hmm. I'll take it any way I can get it at this point. I'll take it literally. It's been a long time coming, years and years. A lot of people's time and lives have been invested into this. I'll take it, whatever. Movies, miniseries, books, audiobooks, short stories, YouTube videos, claymation reenactments. Just fucking give it to me. I don't care how you give it to me. I'll be there watching that shit.
That's epic. Oh, that's funny. So when you're reading these stories, what was the one thing that you were confused at the most, where you had to like reread it 4 or 5 times?
I think it might have been all the different people at court. Like I knew the Starks, right?
Sure.
But then when they got to court, it was like this person, that person, Littlefinger, Varys. I was like, and this is just reading them first time. I'm not that smart. I had to read shit like 2-3 times before I get it. But I was just like, who are these people? And, going further, every time I read another book, there were more and more people being added. And I'm just like, who are these side people? Like, who are the Royces and these Rivers? And, all these side characters, I had to reread, and I had to start from the beginning and reread, and then go back again and reread to like really understand who they all are. Even like when the Queen of Thorns shows up and she's got her right and left, I didn't realize that they're Redwinds, like the Redwind twins. There's a lot going on, so it's mostly like the satellite characters that threw me off. I had to go back and Google them also and be like, who's that? They messed me up.
Big Walder, Little Walder, things like that. Yeah.
Don't get me started on the phrase. It's like 100 of them.
I think it was the Ironborn sections that were the most confusing for me, because I couldn't understand why anybody put that in there. Not that they're not epic characters, if you like them, but for me, it was just one of those things where I could just easily glaze over and not watch it. So
we see an eye on this, because the Ironborn stuff, I listened on the audiobooks, and that's when I'm just like talking to other people like, yeah, I know, right? Like the Ironborn stuff is playing in my ear. Yeah, no, it's fine. You can talk. Yeah. Say what were we talking about? Because it's just like, I did not care. I wasn't so much confused, but I was just completely unentertained by all things Ironborn. I have a better appreciation now. I'm still not all team Ironborn, but it was so boring. I'm not racist. My daughter called me racist.
Did you not wash your hands?
Did you wash your hands? Racist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's Ironborn. They're hard to handle for me. I'm working on it though.
Yeah, it's taken me a long time, especially I think because of the way we're introduced to Theon, you know, that there's a prejudice right away because he's a prisoner basically. So obviously anybody that's, you know, a prisoner has to be watched carefully. So it set the mood for me.
They're just so boring.
We were talking about Sorella earlier. What do you think her plan is, her long-term plan? You know, is it for Dorn or is it for herself or both, or once she becomes the Maester?
I believe her original plan was just to go out, just to go with no like real mission. She's Oberyn's daughter. He's done that all over the place. And they said that she has an inquisitive mind. You know, she's curious, questionable, she's adventurous. She likes to go out, just go. So she's like, you know what? That I can go to the Citadel and be a damn Maester if I wanted to. You know, I just feel like it's something to try. I know there's lots of theories that say she was sent there for a reason, and that's possible too. And it could be a combination of both. Maybe she was adventurous and inquisitive, and Duran took advantage of that and was like, well, hey, how about you go do this? Either way, I think she was sent there to gather information, then got pulled into a deeper web that nobody knew even existed, which is Marwyn and all the stuff he has going on. And now she's like, I want to say like a right-hand man or anything, but she's in his inner circle. He sent her to go get Sam, meaning like he trusts her. She knows all about his glass candle and everything. So I think she came there maybe with a mission to get some particular information, got way too good at her job, and now is like way up higher on the social hierarchy of the Citadel, or Marwyn's side of the Citadel, than she ever thought, or they ever thought she could be.
Yeah, I think that's the way I was reading it too. Is it's more of a self-fulfilling, you know, long-term plan than it is for it to be about Dorn, because it seems like the connection between her and her father are pretty isolated, you know, from each other. So that's what I was thinking. What was the one place you think in Planetos, the whole place? What would be the place you'd want to visit?
Dorn.
Yeah, you're at the Waffle House. You're looking at all those brochures.
They're all spread out on the table.
Right.
And I'm like, Dorn. I'm going to Dorn.
Where in Dorn?
I'm going to Sunspear.
Sunspear, nice.
I'm going to get wasted.
Is there a lot of difference between Dorn and where you're at now?
Yeah, because I'm the only person around here
that knows
appreciates the Dornish lifestyle. And it's the South, so it's not. I feel like Dorn is like a more deserty type climate, like where I'm from. I'm from in Southern California. It's a desert area, sandy, hot as hell. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like 80 degrees on Christmas Day type stuff. I feel like Dorn is like that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I connect with it, because I feel like those are my people.
You know, it's funny. I said if there was a place for me to go, I picked Dorn as well. Okay. A little bit different reason, but same answer. I'm from Central Florida or Miami, where it was, you know, even hotter and more humid, but definitely not deserty. But still, it thought that it would be better in the warm, you know, with it being warm. Very cool. Well, that was all the 10 questions I had, but I always give you an opportunity to ask any questions you might have for me. I don't know if you've thought of any questions that you'd like to ask, but I always give you the opportunity.
I didn't. Wait, let me think 2 seconds.
Take your time. I'm going to ask
You know,
all the people in the chat to come up with a question for the Sphinx. Maybe
yes.
counting everybody that's in the chat, all her children, what would they number? She's like Robert Baratheon. She has very few.
If I could just have mad children, probably all of these people would be my kids.
No doubt.
And how many people are in the chat right now? Can you
About
see?
600. 23 is watching.
600.
I don't know how many are in the chat, but 23 are watching.
I'm not going to beat my children, guys. They saw me give my eyes. My sisters know when I give the eyes to my daughter, they're like, don't beat him. I promise her. She's safe. The kids are safe. You're safe.
Sort of.
I wish you would. They test me. Oh, there's one.
What do you think Danny will deal? How do you think Danny will deal with Cersei?
I believe that Cersei will attempt to burn down King's Landing before Danny ever fully arrives. Either she tries and succeeds, or she tries and she's killed by the Valonqar.
This is a book answer, or is this a both?
Oh, well, it has to be a show answer because in the books we're not even anywhere close to this. So, yeah, it has to be a show answer, right?
No, it really doesn't. You could clarify it however you want, because in the show we still have basically Cersei running things. So whether she's on the throne or her son's on the throne and her giving, the responses, it's still going to be the same way.
But I think if Danny was coming, which she's not in the books, we don't know where Danny's at in the books.
Yeah,
but
she's
we know,
in the grasslands.
Yeah, so that's speculating way too far. I think it's a show question because Danny's still like out in the grasslands trying to fucking get Drogo to listen. So I think either Cersei ruins it for herself, or she's going to get killed by somebody else that can't sit there and watch her just destroy King's Landing, aka the world, and they're going to take her out. So Danny won't have to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be as equally up against the two. That it just seems like Danny's just going to wipe her out. No real conversation there. But from what I hear from season 7, I don't really want to speculate that. I'd rather talk about the books. But my guess is that Cersei would be dead before she gets there.
Yeah.
Because of Jaime, not because of anything else.
Because Jaime is the Valonqar.
Yeah. That's my guess.
And he's a third-headed dragon.
Are you a believer in the theory that you could have two fathers or however that goes, where Jaime's actually a Targaryen?
I think Jaime and Cersei are Targaryens.
Oh, no Lannister at all.
Well, from their mom.
We keep forgetting about that, don't we?
Yeah, the person that birthed them. Yeah, just her. But their dad is, Mad King. They're crazy. Well, what's the thing they say? You flip the coin?
Yeah. So
we got two sides, right?
Yeah, they're both a little crazy as far as I'm concerned. T-Baby wants to know how much of a dumbass is Tyrion or Tywin. Yeah.
What'd she say?
How much of a dumbass is Tywin? Yeah. Will Tyrion come back to Westeros and take his wife back?
No. He never wanted to marry her in the first place. He never consummated, like he was not interested in her in any kind of way. His father made him do that. So he'll come back and just be like, hey, you're good. I'm good. Look, hand of the queen. Chill. Do your thing. And because it wasn't consummated, it can just be cast aside. So they're fine. He doesn't want that.
Yeah. With his standing in court, I don't think he'll even have that opportunity because no one will care.
Yeah. And
Lexi asked a question as normal, nothing unusual there. Do you think Quaith and Bloodraven are at war or working together, aware of each other's influence on people's events?
T-Baby asked that.
Plexi.
Thought that was T-Baby. That's some
So
T-Baby
Quaith
stuff.
and Bloodraven at war, or are they working together?
No. Disclaimer, I don't buy into a lot of theories. That's one of them.
One of them is everybody is everybody else?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jack and Hagar is Dario Naharis. And Arya is going to steal freaking Sansa's face. Yeah, I can't get that deep. It's just where my mind works. I have to stay on. I know people. I'm a nurse. I know people and emotions and the way people do things. As far as like epic plans and theories, I have a hard time with that unless it's got like good backing behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's a Targaryen. The Kyle said Sansa, Bran, Jaqen,
etc. Yeah, Jaqen is everybody, and everybody's a Targaryen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one thing that's confused me a lot lately is the theory, of, and this is my theory of Ned being, the honorable person that we always hear him in the story, because nobody in George R.R. Martin's really that good. You know what I mean? There's always a gray.
I think he prefers for everybody to be gray.
Right.
I think the Starks may be the best characterization of good because they really don't have a gray, which is their damn problem. Like they need some gray. They needed
their
some.
House colors are gray, right?
No, right? Ned didn't know gray. He only knew white. And that got him killed. And then there's other people like the Lannisters. They live in the gray. They created the gray.
They invented the gray.
Yeah. I don't know anybody that's a fan. Well, I guess like you can say the Boltons are in the black.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
But also cross over into gray as they need to. But that was the Starks' problem. Like they just stayed in the white and almost end up their house being like totaled out for that reason.
Kyle said Arya is a Targaryen. Alicia disagreed. She said Arya is gray, and I don't see anything gray about Arya. Sorry.
No, she's so black.
Yeah, she's so. See, I was thinking this just the opposite. I think, yeah, she says it like it is. So, which I think you could appreciate. So,
she had some great moments, I guess, like when she was on the show, when she was supposed to kill the chick, but she ended up liking the actress lady. And
yeah, that's not.
That's kind of a gray moment. That's making a judgment call on what. No, not canon, but
yeah.
I'm just trying to find a stark gray example. I guess it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, other than Catelyn, you really can't. And we're not going there, right?
I mean, if you got another 2 hours to make it happen. You want to talk about Catelyn and Sansa?
Where's Timo? That's what I want to know. Oh, Catelyn is blue, red and blue.
Cat is not gray. Look. Oh.
She's black-hearted.
Alicia said she's a Tully, not a bloody Stark.
Mm.
Cat is so not gray. Oh my God. Damn. Mention Cat. Oh, the chat is lit about some Cat and Stark.
It's like a ticker tape now.
Kyle said he literally spit out his drink. Candy said #fuck Catelyn.
Oh, Candy's here. Hi, I didn't see you earlier. Thanks for being here.
Damn. I didn't know Catelyn caused that much of a Yes, sir. This is
Oh yeah,
interesting.
yeah. You can't. It's like saying Brienne is a criminal to Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat, who was an epic guest, and saying that is just like phew, pops the candle. Pink Lash, hey, how's it going? Thanks for being
Hi,
here.
Pink Lash. Hi.
So, do you have any? You don't have any questions for me, really?
Well, I have one. I would
Mhm.
like to know your Kingsguard that
Mm.
you would choose.
So, I would probably start off with Ned Stark, um, Arthur Dane, definitely Barristan Selmy. I wouldn't have the Hound. Um, but if they weren't related, I would have Arya. That I think was a pick that surprised me that I didn't think of. I like that. I like that pick. Um,
For her particular set of skills.
yes, I mean that is talent. When you can change your face and be someone else and sneak up on somebody and
Need
like
somebody like
just
that.
be a random listener, you know? Yeah, absolutely. Um, I wouldn't have Braun or Oberyn. I think Braun's a sneaky guy. I don't know what's going on with him, and loyalty is probably what you need on a King's Guard. So I probably wouldn't have Braun. Sir Duncan the Tall, if you want to go back even further, I would definitely have on.
That's a good one.
That's five.
That's 5. You still got 2 more spots to fill?
Yeah, I would say Loras Tyrell
That's a good one.
if he would make a the commit, the pledge or the say the vows.
That's a good one.
And Sir Davos. Again,
Davos can't fight.
not because of his military or fighting ability, but because of his loyalty.
But he
Again,
can't.
not probably not the most epic military battling group, but uh, they would be loyal, and you wouldn't have to worry about anyone saying something that you wouldn't want. Confidence would be of the utmost.
So what about Garland Tyrell?
Um, Remind me of who that is because I'm trying to
He was the older,
Garland.
not the older Tyrell brother, because that's the one that can't walk.
Right.
And then there's Loris, and so Garland is like the middle brother, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken. He was the one that was always good to Sansa when everybody was beating her ass.
Gotcha.
Was that him? And he would,
Yeah, I don't remember him being
not.
that epic. So
Yeah, I'm trying to remember too. But I just remember him as being noble.
no Trant. Definitely no Trant is in my King's
No, no
Guard.
Trent.
I
Unless you're
don't
trying to fight
I don't need
little
no
girls.
pedophile in my group.
I mean, he's pretty good with the stick against little girls.
Whatever.
If you're
Yeah.
fighting an army of children, you want Trent on your squad.
Wow.
That's the only question I had for you.
That's a good question though. Because it really, like I said, the loyalty has to be there and the fighting ability, but the fighting ability is not necessarily number one because you have a whole army. This is just your immediate, inter
You
circle group.
you think Arya would be loyal?
Arya would be 100% loyal. I mean, she was loyal to Yaren. She was loyal to her dad. She was definitely loyal to Assyria Farrell. I mean, she talks about him from all 5 books. So, um, yeah, definitely.
Can we have a second to ask the chat what their 7 would be? I'm just interested,
Ooh.
interested to see like what they would say because I've seen a couple names come up and I would just like to know like what they would do.
Yeah, let's do that. Anyone in the chat? Let's hear your 7. You could do 1 at a time, 2 at a time, or all 7,
Yeah. Name the
whatever works
names.
best. Give it up.
Because Iron Throne said Makaro. I was like, Makaro?
Yeah, that would be tough because he's already committed. So.
Damn, Alicia had hers ready. Look.
She had it already on WordPad.
Did you copy and paste?
Yeah. Daisy Mormont. Great John. Duncan the Tall. I like that. Aemon Targaryen. Aemon. Which Aemon? You're talking about Maester Aemon?
I hope not.
Yeah, he's blind and he's 92 years old, so that wouldn't work.
And he was never known to be a fighter, even when he wasn't old and blind. Lab says, Dane. I'll just say Arthur Dane. When you say Dane, the Hound, Brienne, Jon, Arya, Barristan, and Dunk.
Yeah, Jon is actually one of the better choices because he's loyal and he's also very quick with the sword.
I chose Jon on mine. Just throwing that out there. Candy says the Dragon Knight, Rhaegar, Baelor Breakspear, Jaime, Selmy, Dane, Brienne. That's a good squad right there. Broke Black Man says Ned, Jon, Arthur Dane, Arya, Cersei. Stop. Stop. Hold the phone.
Skill. Cersei has them. As long as you've got wildfire in the basement.
What is her skills? She just walks up with her holding her skirts and says mean things.
Shame.
Shame.
She's a distraction. She just takes off her clothes and walks down the street.
Let me find T-Babies. Okay, T-Baby said the Dragon Knight, Barristan, Arthur Dane, Victarion, good one. I forgot about Victarion. Oberyn, Brienne, and Duncan the Tall. I completely forgot about Victarion. He's epic. Good job, T-Baby.
He wouldn't say the vows, though.
I mean, he might. For his wife? I don't know.
Ironborn, much less, to a king.
He's epic, though. If you could get him to do it.
That's given, yeah, for sure.
That's the first guy you want running in. Kyle said, Old Nan, Mr. Lewin, Ramsay, Oliver, and Sir Dantos. Kyle wants to die.
Yeah, he's looking for a quick death. That's funny.
Oh, Lord. Okay, one more. Sam said, Oberyn, Dane, Arya, the Dragon Knight, Selmy, Breakspear, and Daisy. Yeah, I appreciate the Daisy Mormont. I can't believe I didn't think of her because she's like my freaking idol.
Right behind the Sphinx.
Yeah, right behind the Sphinx. She's literally, her and Val are like tied right behind the Sphinx.
Yeah, the Mormonts are definitely loyal. You're not going to get any issues there. And as far as
nobody
fighting,
said Lyanna Mormont.
She's 6.
Well, they said Cersei.
That's true.
You say Cersei. Why not Lyanna Mormont?
Oh, yeah. I don't think I'd be picking cold hands. That's a good try, but yeah. In the warm weather, he'd have to take off, some of those, cloaks. Not a good look in King's Landing.
It's probably gross under there.
No kidding. He'd be walking down to the throne and parts would be falling off.
Lab said Howland Reed. He'll stab people in the back.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
So did you hear my Arya theory in regards to her being the Night's Queen?
No.
So you know how the George had the blue Mel commissioned where he had that made?
Yeah, the Dark Horse figurine.
Yeah, so I was thinking that would be Arya, that Arya would take Mel's face and she would become the Night's Queen. Because we know that there's not going to be an old, unglamored Mel being the Night's Queen, right? That would not happen. And she's not going to be able to be the Night's Queen as I know Sam did that the last time I said this, but yeah, so with her being a faceless, a person that could be a faceless no one, essentially, she could make that change without any problem. And the way that Mel looked at her in the show gave me a feeling that she was seeing something she couldn't understand in Arya's eyes. So
I felt like she was seeing something she completely understood, which is why she looked at her and said, "I see eyes in your eyes, blue eyes, green eyes, brown eyes, eyes you'll shut." She was basically prophesying that you're about to be a fucking killer. That's how I saw it.
Gotcha.
I'm not in the group of people that believe there's going to be a Night's Queen.
Another theory killer.
Yeah, again, slayer of theories.
Well, I keep thinking of George's saying, about being the end of the story being bittersweet, and his wife being a big Arya fan. That would be like the most. Oh, hi.
But in that, yeah, she's gone. She's gone. In that respect, but he's sworn off from hurting Arya. He can't kill her in any kind of way because of his wife. So she has plot armor. Arya's not going to die. We don't know for a fact there's going to be another Night Queen. I don't even know why. It's going to sound like such shit when I say this. But I don't even know why people think there would be another one. Because the first one didn't even matter. She was just like a story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so why does it need to happen again? It would be different if like there was a Night's King and then he couldn't do anything until he got his queen and then could like do something.
I actually do have an explanation if you want to hear it.
Go for it.
So we hear a lot about different houses marrying off their children, like with Sansa being married to Joffrey, etc. That would be the Night's King's demand for him to leave Westeros and go back to the lands of Always Winter.
Yeah,
in other words, that would be the pact.
I don't think there would need to be a pact because they have to get killed. You can't. I think they're past the point of pacts. They've come too far. By the time they get to us people in Westeros,
yes,
us south of the wall, they're not looking for pacts and shit. Like they're coming to conquer. Just my thought. They're coming to take over stuff. So they don't need a queen. Like there's no Bennett. They can take any chick of all the chicks that they've already turned or killed. They could take one if they wanted to. I just don't understand why.
But it has to be a certain blood, doesn't it? Isn't that the?
But they've got all blood types. Like they can kill any. They're so powerful at this point. They can roll up right now into Winterfell, fucking snatch Sansa up, and do it. Especially if the leaks are true. I'm not going to say anything, but if the leaks are true, they can roll up in Winterfell and take people from there and do what they want with them.
Well, here's my argument to that theory that they could roll up on anybody is that the very first thing that we ever see in the books and in the TV show are identical. It's the only time that really that happens, and that's the whole story of the very first exposure to anyone in the show is when we see the others attack the Wildling camp, and also, the Kingsguard or the Night's Watch rather. So we know that they have the ability to kill, and yet they haven't gone any closer to the wall after 6 years than they did the very first show. So if they had the ability, they would have gone at least past the wall.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with pacing. Like in the books, does it make sense?
I hear what you're saying.
Because in the books, there's so much other stuff going
or
on.
5 books and 6 TV shows, 6 years of.
In the books, they're kind of just like a shadow thing happening. And maybe they're trying to build up their army, and maybe, I don't know, but but it took several books. Actually, what we saw last season, we still haven't seen in the books. We still haven't seen like Hardhome in the books. We heard about it, like heard what
I don't think we're
happened.
going to get any more of Hardhome in the books. I think that's past.
Yeah, stuff like that in the books, we're still not aware of just how epic they are. So I think the show has given us this expectation that they're just like super strong and powerful and just can roll wherever they want and do whatever. But meanwhile, in the books, they're still hovering like way back there. So there has to be some sort of reason for that. I'm not saying that maybe they need a Night Queen and that's what they're waiting for. I don't know. But I just feel like they don't need to wait on a marriage or a proposal or any kind of agreement, because what they're doing, they're old as hell, old as all time. What they're doing is finally coming home. They don't care about any of our shit. They don't want to marry one of us. They're bye.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they needed to marry somebody, they would just take the person and marry them. I don't know. I know that may not make sense to a lot of people, but I don't understand how you could stop somebody. If the White Walkers rolled into my door right now and like kicked that shit in and like told me like, come with me, like, what could I do? So once they come,
unless you got that Valyrian steel sword in the.
I don't have. I mean, I have this little bit of obsidian. Like I have this little chip of obsidian. I can try to poke them with it, but if they come and claim me, it's a Rapsky, and now I'm the Night Queen. So I feel like it could be anybody. If you need a person of certain blood, then you just go get that kind of blood. But their numbers are so overwhelming.
But if they killed you, you would be a white. You wouldn't be an other.
Well, if they took this obsidian and stuck it in my heart, I'd be an other, right?
I don't know. I mean, it's the way the show explained it, but that was because they did that from the children, not from the other's perspective.
And that's what all we have to go on right now is the show.
Yeah.
Because that's what Benjamin said too. That's how they say. That's how they
quote unquote. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all we know for now.
Chris from Smokescreen say today that if you die north, even if the Night's King is not around or the others are not around, you still turn. And I never understood it that way. I always thought that you had to be controlled by one of the others.
No way. That sounds like some Walking Dead stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like everybody just has the virus. It's a virus.
Welcome, Big E. Thanks for coming by. Eric's here.
Hey.
So speaking of late arrivals, I do want to let everybody know that came late that Alicia is going to be doing another live stream right after this is over, talking about the differences and similarities between obsidian and Valyrian steel. So make sure you go on her channel right after this. Speaking of which,
that's actually going to be on my channel.
Right, Christina the Sphinx.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Alicia corrected that real fast.
Did I say it differently? I'm sorry.
That's fine.
But yeah, no problem. We got it right eventually. So I don't want to keep you guys too late because I know it's already late. West Coast people, I tell you, we think everything's our time. So it's like 6:30 here. So everybody's like still getting finished with work. So I definitely want to thank you very much, Christina, for being here, along with all of the other people, Lav, David from Broke Black Man 94, Sir L.T. Giles was on, Don the Kraken Wit, Don Willie, James Bichelle, Alicia Kingston, of course, Laura McCauley, Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat, Tinker Josso, Claire Gray, Maester Payne, Sam RO9 in the house. Kyle's Cooking Chickens, of course, my buddy. Don, the Kraken Wit, and Monaro Geek TV. Lady Ashley was on yesterday. Sunday, we're going to have Steffi from Hiking with Steffi, also from Golden Girls of Westeros. And tomorrow, we're going to have John Solo, a.k.a. Obi-Wan Kenobi. So that'll be fun, and hopefully we'll see you then. Do you want to say goodbye, Christina, and let us know if there's anything else going on?
I'm just happy to be here, and thank you so much. This is so much fun. I hope we get to do it again within your 30 days.
Yeah, you have reserved day 29, and Tony Teflon is going to be on for day 30. So that'll be a back-to-back epic discussion. Hopefully we'll be able to work out some questions that are going to be fun for both me, you, and the chat, because I love doing these. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I love your questions. It was good. Thank you so much for having me.
Good.
And
I was worried about it being too hard or too easy. So
yeah, because I was like, don't get too heavy on me. No, I don't like to get too deep. Stay service level. You did good. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. Well, I'm glad
thank y'all so much for coming. Yeah, everybody in the chat, I see all y'all. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to continue on my channel talking about Valyrian steel and obsidian, how they're connected, and the correlations between them. And we'll see y'all there, hopefully.
Like I always say, make sure you eat dessert first, wander like a dog, and have a good time, guys. Take care.